Well, the morning cloud and fog sort of help us out early in the day, but the rest of the afternoon is brilliant sunshine and some warm weather. Of course, that south wind continues to pump up all the Gulf moisture. That's why we're getting that morning cloud cover and the foggy weather. You know, that big dome of high pressure is beginning, or shall we say, is showing signs of beginning to move. And as it does, it finally is going to change our futures here. You can see how the jet stream is basically coming out of the Pacific, going way up into the northern plains, and then finally coming out right here. This is the only last vestiges of any kind of winter weather, as everybody under this stationary front is experiencing unusually warm weather for this time of year. We don't have any fire weather watch advisories. However, you know and I know that it's still dry and it's still hot and we're in a drought, so we should be very cautious with flames. The fire weather watches continue from the Panhandle through the plains all the way up into Montana, as that area of the world has been parched for the last week, courtesy of that big dome. But the dome's changing, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. We are looking at another morning fog situation. It'll be generally from 59 down to the coastal waters. Inland areas probably won't see as much because the inversion is very low over our region, so that's where the fog will stay for tomorrow morning. But get a load of these temperatures. Doesn't look like springtime much. 84, 86, and then it comes down to 80 degrees because of the north wind that we get for about a day there. That's Saturday. So it's still a great looking Saturday coming up, but then it warms back up next week and we will start getting some moisture that will give us maybe that morning fog and drizzle all next week. Now let me show you what we're talking about, this thing moving. Notice it's still sort of wobbling around down there in the southwest. We're going to Saturday though, and on Saturday it does show signs of moving across our region, and that's what's going to give us that little front that actually comes in behind it. So as it flattens out and moves to the east coast, a big trough rolls into the western states, and they're going to be dancing in the streets for this one. First, they get the Pacific moisture coming in off the Gulf of California, but another big Pacific storm's coming in and hopefully will replenish much of the moisture that sort of got evaporated over the last week with the brutal heat. See the temperatures in the 80s and 90s all the way across the southern tier states. Winter has really been pushed out, but as that dome does move across and flattens out, you see right about here kind of a little bit of a cool down, right? And you'll see that cool down coming in, and as we get to the weekend, well, they get a break in the heat for much of the places that are way beyond right now. 80 tomorrow after the morning cloud deck, afternoon sun, looking good for the weekend. If you're going out to Port Lavaca, Cuero, you're getting a lot more sun and you're getting up to about 86. Take a look at your 7 days, pretty much in the mid 80s. Morning fog and then afternoon breezy, but it's not really bad, probably up to 25 miles an hour. Saturday's a day we get one little break in the temperature there. Otherwise, we'll be in the mid 80s through the next 7 days. That is your 7-day forecast. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget, we do have this QR code, quick response. That's what it means, QR, quick response. You can get Crossroads Today right on your cell phone. And we'll toss it back to Shauna.